to speak up and share your most intimate thoughts about the way you believe you should be treated, either on your job or in your personal relationships? How many of you just feel comfortable doing that? Well, it's likely that none of you, or at least most of you, don't just feel that sense of comfort. And that's completely understandable. And what I have been wanting everyone to do in our work in the Rise Advocates movement, in the Rise Advocates Academy, is just to do that, right? If I give you the tools, if I give you the inspiration and the encouragement, that you will just go ahead and do that. And you know what our research says? You know what our clients keep telling us? That it's so difficult for them to do that because they really, at the forefront, want peace, this acknowledgement for themselves, and this recognition, but they want that first, right? They want to know that they're doing a good job, they want to be recognized, and they want to be acknowledged. But I've come to realize that in order to feel that and to know that you are, is you have to do that beyond external validation. A lot of people don't really get the fact that they're chasing validation. They're chasing people to see them, to hear them, and to value them. And so instead of pushing my agenda, and this is for corporate women in these corporate streets because it's very difficult because everyone is conditioned to look the same, act the same, and do the same things, all for the sake of making certain they're doing a good job, they get paid, and they fulfill their role. And that is completely understandable. But what we want you to understand is that you already are acknowledged, you already are someone of purpose. You already have the validation because of who you are. And that alone should give you peace, and of course, because you're speaking, because you're doing your very, very best work, then you're going to be recognized naturally. There's no forcing, there's no cajoling, there's no arguing, and there's no like fist raising, and then there's no anger behind the scenes because you are actually showing up fully, authentically you. That's our primary work. And that's the reason for the you know what? I get it now. And it also required me to realize that I didn't wake up like this. I did not start off like this. This is something that I've had to work on. And I will speak from personal experience here because for me, in my work, that's really what I was beginning to do, right? I was actually switching it up, not being me, not sharing my story, not telling anyone who I really was because I wanted to make certain that I fit that box. And that specifically, I remember as I was been sharing with you all, if you've been following my lives, I've been talking about the incident that Steve Kroll, who is the chief legal officer, was at Owens Corning, would ask me what my personal story was. Diana, what makes you who you are? And of course, for me, that was a very difficult time because for the longest, I had been pretending that I was something that I was not. Why? Because I wanted everyone else's validation. And so when he asked me, Diana, we want you to run the United Way campaign. We want your voice. We want your story to be at the forefront. It's called the Real Life Campaign. What's your story? And of course, when asked that, I shrunk down. I felt nervous. I was anxious. The roof of my mouth started getting dry and my hands started getting a little sweaty because again, I didn't want to let anyone know anything. And so my response was, well, what do you want to know? What do you want to know about my personal story? And of course, when he continued to ask me, he said, what is it about you that makes you you? Just freely share whatever you want to share. And as you guys know, in previous lives, I went ahead and I shared my truth. I spoke up and I shared the feelings that I had when I was young and how I wasn't really accepted by either Black people or white people. I went through this understanding of trauma. My father was abusive, and it was very difficult for me when he would say things to me like, you disgust me, get out of my face. That narrative played in my head all the time. And I told him about the feelings of being isolated and alone in my youth because I didn't fit a certain category. I wasn't neither black and I wasn't neither white. And so I wasn't sure what my identity was. And I had to work on my identity. And so I thought, let me play it safe. Let me not show anyone who I really am because it seems like everyone else that's successful does these kinds of things. And that's how I began to live my life. And then after sharing all of this with him, my entire life changed. And when I tell you that my entire life changed, because that was the catalyst for me to be able to see things differently. And I then began to consistently speak up and share my truth. But what I didn't realize, that took time, right? That takes time. It takes a lot of intention. It takes a lot of focus to rewire yourself and pull away these layers. These are heavy, heavy layers that we carry in our lives every single day. And when you are underneath a ton of these layers, then it's really difficult for you to be able to stand in your truth. And I just want to share, like last night, I had the beautiful opportunity to be at the Women of Wintrust event. And there were over 400 women there. Shout out to Marianne Karenik of Wintrust. She put together, she and her team, the Women of Wintrust, this is their fourth year putting together this beautiful thing. And all of these amazing women are showing up. And I could feel an energy in the room, right? One, the energy was started off in this room with these women that they put up that were these double Dutch women. And that's how they kicked it off. Lots of energy, lots of fun. And the double Dutch, the people were in the front and all the people were in the back. And these people were just like all into the fun and excited. But you could tell, and this is how it is most places, that the group that was traditionally known to be these corporate women were way back here and everyone else was over here. And so there was definitely a divide because it was like, should we like join in on the fun or should we just stay back here? And I get that it is really hard for people just to relax and be and just feel a sense of freedom and peace to be able to just freely enjoy things in the corporate spaces. And so last night, of course, having worked on myself for so long and, not really looking for anybody's validation, I freely stepped into that experience, freely enjoyed myself, right? And I'm not saying everyone has to be like me, but like really immerse yourself into experiences and those opportunities that you can gain some sort of like good feelings about. You can't do that because you're looking for this validation. And this is the things that we need to work on. These are the steps that we need to be able to take is to break down a lot of these layers, right? That you can have peace within yourself to be you. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing to step into something and just know that you can do it? You might be a little nervous, you might feel a little sense of like butterflies, but that you can do it. That is the feeling. And I want you to have that feeling all the time. I want you to step into that. I want you to be conscious of your life. I want you to wake up. That's the biggest tragedy is a lot of women just are not awake, right? Um, Oh, my signal is unstable. Thank you, Latanya. I don't know what to do about that. I hope that it becomes stable. Let me see here. Oh, I hope that it gets stable. So that's the thing that I want us to really step into. That is the liveliness that I want us to be able to have in our daily life. So I hope that this is helpful to you, and I hope that you're able to experience this for yourself. And we want to be able to help you get that. So, we actually have a webinar that we are hosting on Sunday. This is March 9th at 1 p.m. Central Time. So, that's going to be um, I think 2 p.m. Eastern time. And so we want you to be able to come in on that, to be able to enjoy yourself and to get the information that you need in order for you to be able to experience peace, recognition, and acknowledgement outside of external validation. So that is what I wanted to share with you. How many are you think that you might want to get into an opportunity to have that? How many of you want to experience this type of peace, this type of freedom outside of external validation? How many of you are thinking about that? If that's what you want, we have it for you. It's on Sunday, March 9th at 1 p.m. Want you to be able to get the link in the comments and show up and be able to feel a sense of freedom. So, with that, I look forward to seeing you. I think I'll probably go live again Saturday to be able to give this to you and share on why you want to be in the webinar. And then we're going to be going live on Sunday. I look forward to seeing you then. All right. Take care. Bye.